Remember this historian, and I use that term very loosely, David Barton. He's like, I guess, a Christian historian. We've talked about him on the program recently. A few of the highlights from David Barton over the last few months are people are on welfare because they don't read the Bible. If they read the Bible, they'd be able to get off welfare. The Bible will cure PTSD in soldiers, assuming that those soldiers are God's warriors. I guess that means that they read the Bible. If there are elections in a country, by definition, it is not a theocracy. I guess he hasn't heard of any number of countries in the world. And he also says that the Bible actually is part of the Constitution according to the 7th Amendment. Anyway, now he's talking about San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio, Texas, very close to where producer Lewis is. Last fall, the City Council of San Antonio adopted a non-discrimination ordinance which added sexual orientation as one of the protected classes. You can't be discriminated against based on your sexual orientation or your gender identity. This is completely uncontroversial. Hundreds of cities in this country have adopted similar anti-discrimination ordinances. For some reason that we will likely never understand, Christian historian David Barton has decided to seize specifically on San Antonio's anti-discrimination ordinance, and he says that Christianity has been criminalized by this ordinance in San Antonio. Here is David Barton. I can't really explain it to you like he can, so this is David Barton explaining the whole thing to you.
If you hold that view of traditional marriage and morality, you're also guilty of a Class C misdemeanor in San Antonio. You also pay a $500 a day fine for exercising your religious beliefs there if you hold toward traditional marriage against homosexuality. You're also prohibited from running from office in the future. So any Christian pastor who's ever said marriage between a man and a woman can't run for office in San Antonio now. And on top of that, if I own a business like a paving business or a construction business or a landscape, I cannot do business with the city of San Antonio. Now, that city council voted by a margin of 8-3 to criminalize Christian beliefs and behavior.
This is, of course, just lies. Okay, I mean, it's of course false that if you oppose gay marriage or criticize homosexuality and you're a Christian, that you're barred from running for public office. That's just not true. It's also not true that if you're serving in office, you would be removed from office. It's also not true that you would be charged with a crime if you simply are opposed to gay marriage. None of that stuff is true. The ordinance simply prohibits city officials or departments from discriminating based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, veteran status, age, or disability. So in the same way that if you simply say you don't like old people or simply say you don't like gay people, that's not a crime. You don't get fined. You don't get fired. However, if as a member of government, you are discriminating against groups that are protected classes, then that is going to be a problem. It's actually an insult to David Barton's followers that he just straight up lies to them, because the fact that he's so willing to just make stuff up confirms that he thinks his own followers are idiots that they would even believe him.
It's funny how religious extremists like him think that they have certain rules that are followed by the government, and like there's just this separate set of rules that don't actually exist in reality. And I guess when you pass a real law that kind of interacts with your set of fake rules, well, something was criminalized because now one of your fake rules doesn't really exist anymore.
By the way, if we forget about the specifics of the San Antonio law, if broadly speaking, you're really angry because your religion mandates that you discriminate against groups of people and the law is conflicting with that, you may want to re-examine whether this is really a good religion to be following, because that's really the biggest red flag, that your religion is mandating that you discriminate against people and the law is telling you, you know, we don't allow that.
Of course, and this is all just his interpretation of his sacred text. I mean, there are plenty of people at his religious level who completely disagree with him. So how can these laws be, how can there be any consistency here?
Yeah, no question about it. Okay, Facebook.com/David Pakman Show. I just posted before we went on air a crazy hate mail exchange that's been going on for several months with someone who likes our Facebook page. Check it out. I think you're going to like it. And in general, I think you'll like what's on our Facebook page. A lot of behind the scenes stuff, A lot of cool stuff. Facebook.com/David Pakman Show.